on that. There we go. New set. A little bit different, a little bit better, a little bit worse. I don't know. I got my friend over here this side. That's right. Get your shift together. That's Steve Rizzo's book. It's all about that attitude. The shift group. We're going to put some stuff back over there. I am now a graduate of the shift group. That's right. That's a mastermind group that was put together. Super excited about that. The guys were absolutely, I'm sorry, the team was absolutely terrific. Yeah, Tom, Stefan, and the White were a part of the whole thing, and it was good. It was good. And the whole idea behind that being good is that we are speaking to people. I was speaking to people that were third party. Third party. They knew me, but they were there not to see what they could gain, not to see, not to definitely impart their wisdom, but not to tell. And it's such a unique ability to be able to do that. So it was really good from the aspect of I got to share some ideas. Uh, spit them out. They were there. We broke into breakout sessions. So there was a few other people that were there too that had didn't know me from a hole in the wall, and I didn't know them at all either. But just flip different ideas back and forth. Hey, did you think of? And I think in fact, I know the advantage of that is the fact that I didn't know what their constraints were. I didn't know what their rules were. I didn't know what they had done, had not done, in the past. I didn't know what their resources were, who was around them, who was guiding them, who was not, who was impacting them in any certain way. So some of the ideas just totally off base, totally off base. Other ideas, maybe not so much. Maybe not so much. Because it seems a few of them are everybody was entrepreneurial, looking at different ways of perhaps generating income, looking at different ways to get in front of larger, bigger audiences. Now, even that word, they wanted to get in front of bigger audiences. What does that mean? If you're a motivational speaker, perhaps a bigger audience to you means that you're at an event and you want to speak to 1,000 people. 1,000 people in the audience. You want to be speaking with them, impacting them all along. And that might be exactly what you're after. That's your definition of bigger. But, and this was a suggestion I made to one of them about a bigger audience is a bigger audience reach, reaching more people, not in one sitting, but overall. Perhaps doing a couple of training videos. A number of them had information that was, let's say, lecture style kind of information. This is how you write an article. One was a writer. This is how you write an article. You need a headline. You need a couple of, that first paragraph has got to be catchy and explain it all. Sounds like an elevator pitch, doesn't it? And then the body conclusion, et cetera, et cetera. Doing that. So I asked them, I was like, when you're delivering this information, does it change? Said, no, it's the format of it. This is what I teach. This is how I view writing an article. This is the procedure that I would suggest other people follow. That's the knowledge he wants to impart. And it's not until you get into the person's situation as to what nuances get tossed into the whole thing. I was like, okay. So if the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of your presentation is exactly the same, regardless of situation, don't you think that could be a pay-per-view, an automated video that people could subscribe to, charge them $25 to listen to it, maybe have the $25 reimbursed if they hire you as a coach, as a one-on-one coach, or enroll in another program. I wasn't sure what his long-term goals were at that point in time. This was more of a, how do I make the shift? And there's the name of that group. How to make the shift. Steve Rizzo, shift in attitude. Their attitude was shift in business approach, maybe product, maybe service, but shift, take a look at things differently. Just like all of a sudden that became a possibility for him. Will he do it? Don't know. Don't know. We'll follow along. I'm part of the group. It's a private Facebook group. They got set up to this way, can all communicate with each other, etc. But the idea is that he could generate income on an ongoing basis without doing any hourly work. It would always be there, and it would always be appropriate. If it became something you needed to update, just take it down, put up a new one, make whatever adjustments with it. And it would be very easy for people to access it whenever they want. The beauty of the internet. So it's available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And it would generate income for them all the time too, as people would subscribe to that. Now, would you pay $25 to watch a half-hour video about how to write an article? No. Depends on what you're doing, why you do what you do, and all the rest of that kind of stuff. But it might. It might. I know the first time I wrote a press release, I was willing to do anything to go figure out, how do you do it? How do you write a press release? And then how do you distribute it? And some of that depends what you're trying to accomplish and things like that. Well, last time I wrote one, I had it rewritten by somebody else, but I was pretty much on the mark, as that went. Could have had a little bit more information into what I did, more factual information into what I did, but still, all in all. But would you? So think about that. Michael, good afternoon to you, man, a friend. Good afternoon to you. So would you? And think about that. Would your audience, would those folks that are your clientele, your prospects, would they be interested in paying for some sort of informational video that they can use as a way of an introduction to you? That's a calling card, isn't it? Spoke to somebody about writing a book, or what the use of the book was going to be. Oh, I want to write a book. Great. Why? Because I have such great information in me. I need to share it. I want to get it out there. I need to write a book. So good. Why? Why? Tell me why, right, Mike? Tell me why. Why do you want to write a book? Well, and then I actually explained what I was really asking. Why do you want to write a book? Do you want to generate income from that book? You want to be a best-selling author, sell a book for $20, $24, $20, $24, $99, and sell that book and generate income from that book? Or do you want to use that book as a calling card? This way on your bio, you could say, I'm an author. I'm a speaker, I'm an author, I'm all these kinds of things. So you have that, so it looks better on your bio. Or you would just use it flat out as a marketing material. Well, if you're going to do that, it changes it up a little bit. One, you don't have to write a novel. It could be something shorter, 100 pages, maybe even a little bit less than that. You write a book. Now all of a sudden it becomes your calling card. And if you're coaching, you can reimburse the person for that book or just give it away, whatever it is. But how much does it cost? There was one guy that sent me a book. He sent me a book. It was a full-blown book, hardcover book, all the rest of that stuff. I called him up. I said, you don't know me. Why'd you send me that book? He said, because it's my calling card. This is where I learned about this whole thing. He's like, it's my, Kurt, good afternoon. He says, it's my calling card. I was like, that's expensive, isn't it? He goes, no. Look at it this way. He said he mails out that book. It's independent. He gets it, printed up by an independent publisher, that kind of thing. So it costs him about $5 for the book. Costs him about $5 to mail it. Rough numbers. Costs him virtually nothing to get my name or anybody's name within the field. I don't know what his keywords that he was looking for, but it's pretty easy. You build up a following on Facebook or LinkedIn, or if you have your own email list or a subscriber list, it's easy enough to do that. And he says, it cost me about $10 a book. I send out the book to 100 people at a clip, 100 people. So it cost him $1,000 to send out that book, right? Got the math right on that one? Hopefully I do. Yeah, But he sends out the book, $10 a book, sends it out to a number of people, and it goes out. He knows how much he spends. So if he spends $1,000 mailing out books per clip, and he picks up one client, he charges that client anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000, depending upon the program and stuff like that. $3,000 to $5,000 a program. That's an interesting rate of return, isn't it? Spend $1,000, get back $3,000 with work included. Maybe he gets more than one. It adds up. So, and it's an attention grabber. I picked up the phone and called him. How many times do you get emails from people that you never pick up the phone? You don't call them back. It's like, really? Come on. I get some of these LinkedIn connections too. It's like, they're crazy. Oh, be my friend. Okay. Whatever. It's good. Whatever. You got a real profile. You got that bio filled out. You got a photo, things like that. Except, boom, automatically. Hey, why don't you buy my product? Why don't you hire my service? Do you need social media help? I was like, if you knew I did, you would phrase it differently instead of just sending it out. And also, I use my middle initial. So I get a little Brian A's. Dear Brian A. It's like, okay, you didn't write it. Come on. So the guy's booked, though. I called him back. So I think about that. Think about it. What is your calling card? All right. Maybe it is an intro video that people pay for. Maybe it's just a flat out intro video. It's a little bio about who you are. That's that elevator pitch, but something a little bit more so, right? If you give away something of value, people, and you don't charge for it, they're like, wow, if you gave that away for free, what else do you have back there? Or if you want to build up your business, do a nice intro video and then have that, let's call it an introductory lesson in whatever it is, in this case, the guy with that, how to write an article, do that. Or go a step up, because it'll cost more, probably will cost more, to write a book and then send that out. Depends on size of book, hardcover, softcover, stuff like that. Also depends upon your capabilities with video. I can tell you a video I did, which I'll show you in a second over here. It cost me absolutely nothing to do. And a dear friend that helped me out with that one tremendously, Michael Simbrom. I went to Michael, who's since passed away, man. That is a loss. But I went to Mike and said, Mike, and this is the greatest part about this guy. This way, you so need to be with people that you trust and care, that care about you too, right? Which will get me into the, what I want to talk about with yesterday's visit with the Stony Brook incubator, the food incubator. All right. And that is, so I went to Mike. I said, Mike, can we, our friends, got an internet TV show? It was like, she said, she'd be happy to play my commercial. He said, that's great. When are you doing this thing? Tomorrow. He said, tomorrow. It's like, well, do you have a commercial? And he knows it. I don't. I was like, no. He's all, so what are you going to do? I was like, Mike, I need a commercial. Can you help me? He's like, sure, we could do that. So here's what we came up with. This took virtually no time. Really took no time. And so I'll play it right now. But let me tell you, it is so important to have the right people. Let's add it. Are you ready to use your voice to build your brand? The Long Island Speakers Bureau is designed to do just that. We work with both content experts along with professional speakers. Visit LongIslandSpeakersBureau.com and you'll see the many people that we do work with. To schedule a conference call with me, just dial 631-255-3581 and ask for Brian. There you go, my friends. So that was 26 seconds. I needed to make it 30 seconds or less. That was it. I'll put the credit to Toastmasters on that one with time management in your head. Knowing what about 30 seconds is. In Toastmasters, many of the shorter speeches, 1 to 2 minutes, whatever, but just being aware of time, what felt right from a time standpoint, didn't have a clock. So that was a factor in there. So I tell this to Mike. I was like, Mike, I need a commercial. I'm like, can you help me? He's like, sure. He grabs the camera, puts it on a tripod, goes in the room over there, because wait a second, something's missing. What? I'm worried about content. Because he goes and gets that microphone, this microphone over here. Are you? That microphone. That microphone with the light on it was cool, coolest thing in the world. And it was just a regular bookcase back there, you know, looked a little nicer than this. Maybe I should get a bookcase. I will say. And that was it. We did it. We did it. We shot it, did not edit it, and just ran with it. So what's the point of this whole thing? What's the point of the whole thing? The point of the whole thing is not that you should join the shift group, although I would suggest that. Not that you should join Toastmasters to become a better speaker and have a little bit more time management in your head, although I would suggest that. Or not that you should write a book, or you should do a video and do an intro video, or maybe do a pay video where people could get that information from you, your intro knowledge, true knowledge, and charge them for it. Charge them for it. Because look, sometimes I get these videos. Oh, yeah, watch the video, no strings attached. Next thing I'm getting bombarded by emails. I'm like, you know what? Opt not to do that. So for those I need to learn more about, go back to the camera, a little bit more about the camera, I go to YouTube. I listen to those things, watch them too. They got a lot of. If I like the person, I subscribe. But again, I'm not getting bombarded by emails by these people, anything like that. I'm not telling you should do any of those things, but I think that all of that helps. Here's what I am telling you to do. Find people that are in your world, that have got some symbiotic relationship with you, that you can use in a very positive manner here, use to help you vet out ideas, use to get information that you would need in order to continue to grow your business. Should these be people that know you really well? And I just had this conversation with my wife, Karen, before. So Karen, again, thank you. Good afternoon to you. Should I have this conversation with my wife? Yes, but she's only a room away here, so I will be certainly very cautious on this one. But there's limitations with that. Why? She's my wife, my trusted partner. She also doesn't want to see me fail, but she wants to see me grow. So there's a little bit of cautiousness with every comment that goes along with it. So it's good to share ideas there. And look, anything I do impacts her. Anything she does impacts me. If that's not taken into consideration, well, that's not really it. That's not good. Some folks, oh, yeah, become a motivational speaker. It's like, you know what? I don't want to do the lifestyle. I got, Mike Pierce. This guy's unbelievable. Lives in San Diego. He's a motivational speaker. Do you want to know how many days per year he's out on the road? 300. Rough number, 300 days per year. He's on the road. I don't want to do that. So if I want to do that, it impacts the wife. So no matter what, there's in there. So Kurt, you mentioned networking, right? Networking, without a doubt. What about networking? Is networking a good idea? Yes, it is a good idea, because that's how you find a lot of people in that symbiotic relationship. People that could be your sales force, as one of the networking groups go. Definitely different than a mastermind group. Mastermind group is sharing ideas and letting them know what your issues are, what your I don't knows are. But you go to a networking group's going to be a little bit different too, because maybe you're the one that's kind of holding back on what it is that you're having issues with, because you want to put your best foot forward. Yes, my name is Brian. I make no mistakes. That's crap. Yeah, that is just crap. But a networking group that certainly has that kind of thing. But I've come to really be a big believer in these groups where everybody's trying to improve and really working together nicely. And this is where I'll put a shout out, to the food incubator people. All right. So yesterday I had the opportunity. It wasn't a long opportunity. It was a short one. I was only there for about a half an hour. Wish I could have stayed longer. But Stony Brook University, the SBDC, the Small Business Development Corporation, you absolutely need to get involved in this one. You don't have to, but it's not a bad idea. You pay for it already. The Small Business Development Centers is a government agency. That's right. It's a government agency. Those folks are there in order to help you further your business. They have business coaches there that will help you. They have people there that will guide you. They run all kinds of different events where they have people come in and speak, tell you, all totally free. think about that one. There's one that's over here that's run by Ronnie. It's not the facility's not run by Ronnie, but Ronnie Rosen does a monthly event, and it's online right now, so super easy. It's the first Thursday of every month. Next one's going to be July, since we're Thursday in June. So next one's going to be in July, and a group of people get together. Sometimes there's a speaker, sometimes not. Sometimes the person who's speaking might have information that's appropriate to you, sometimes not. But that group is not designed for networking. And here's the difference with it. That group is designed for us to share some of the challenges that we may be facing and to share ideas with it. It's definitely a good environment to be in. The people that are there are definitely from the networking community, so there's a little bit of cautiousness when making comments on the whole thing. But I tell you, it's unbelievable once we start sharing some of those issues that come up. There was one event I was at. It was a networking group, but they did hold it in a manner where you were able to share different things. And the question that came up when we went into the breakout session was, what's your biggest concern? What's your biggest thing? What do you think the biggest thing that's holding you back? And one woman said, I feel like I have the imposter syndrome. I was like, wow, I can't believe she said that. In other words, the fake it till you make it thing. Well, she feels like she's faking it till she makes it, but she feels like it's not sincere and she shouldn't be doing that. She feels like an imposter doing what she's doing. Craziest thing, all these heads started going up and down. Like, yeah. Look, I mean, sometimes we do things that we're not ready to do, but we do it. So, you know what? I did that. How do you approach that? It becomes a different thing. But that was a unique situation. I think these mastermind groups really have something. So the Stony Brook Food Incubator, we're gonna comment on that one. So I was out there yesterday. This was a prime example of a group of people that were supportive of each other. Are they all in the food business? Yes. Are they all trying to grow in the food business? Yes. That gives them a common ground, right? But no, wait a second. But if they're all in the food business and they all want to sell their food to delis and restaurants and things like that, they're competing against each other. No, that's not the way they were looking at it. And it was super healthy. They were looking at it as we grow, as one person grows, we all grow. It creates additional awareness about the facility, about what they're doing, about these different products. And the products are different. Everybody's got their own product in there. Some of them were dairy-free, some gluten-free, some not, some purely, for taste. I actually have a crumb cake waiting for me when we get done over here that's purely for taste. Other stuff that was there on the dairy-free, the gluten-free, and it was kind of funny when I mentioned that. It's like, well, there was a chef I spoke to one time. I asked, well, how do you cook? And started explaining the pots and pans. I was like, no. Do you cook for taste? Do you cook for health? And it was like, they cooked for taste. And she's like, so the feedback I got back there too. Well, like, wait a second, my food tastes good. I was like, I know, but it's the healthy side and making sure it tastes good as opposed to the other side. She's kind of got it, in that respect. And actually, I want to reach out to a couple of folks that I did get the chance to meet with, and I think you're going to love their stories. I got to find out a little bit more about their stories before we go into that whole thing. Separate note on that one. But the specific note is just about this. It's this, is the fact that when you are with the right group of people, they are with the right group of people. When you're all there for the common attitude of growth, and that's why they were there. It wasn't that Cupcake Company A was trying to beat out Cupcake Company B. It's the fact that Company A wanted to continue to grow their business, and so did Company B. But maybe Company B has got an additional resource that Company A isn't. And perhaps it's two different products that could be in the same place. They may even be both dessert products, but I can tell you, of all the folks that are on here, you think we all have the same taste buds? I don't think so. I actually love crumb cakes. Absolutely do. That's good. Do I like chocolate cake? No, I don't. I like dark chocolate, but something that's too chocolatey, not my thing. Not my thing. I actually prefer a vanilla cake than a chocolate cake. So be it. And I know specifically one person here that would much rather have the chocolate cake rather than the vanilla cake. There's everything for everybody. And I obviously know a few people, with they got the dairy issues, or they're gluten, or they're vegan, or they're vegetarian, or they're kosher, or they're not kosher. I mean, there's all kinds of different things, all kinds of different things. So there's a big pool, it's a large group, and they get it. They get it. It was fascinating going out over there. And the facility was through Stony Brook University. It was the Small Business Development Center. I am so grateful that the council member, Jonathan Corners, from here in Stony Brook, put this event together with the Stony Brook Small Business Development Center located in Calverton and Riverhead. It's like, how cool was that? And my comment to him too is like, this is not in your backyard. He goes, no, I'm here to serve. And you want to know something? That man is a true elected official. He goes, I'm here to serve the people. I'm here to do what is the right thing to do. And, if we could help the small businesses move forward, you know what? And highlight the programs that are available out there, he wants to do it. And, it made a whole lot of sense. Some of the rooms that are out there were smaller than some of the other rooms. You're renting them out. You rent them out when you can. You're renting out the kitchens when you can. There's, some time constraints because other people are looking to rent it out too. Different fee structures that go along with it. Different levels of coaching that goes along with it. You want a coach, you get a coach. You don't want a coach, you don't get a coach. And I was kind of equating the whole thing. It's like they're in a facility that facilitates. I don't know if we can make that into a bumper sticker, anybody here, but they're in a facility that facilitates whatever their needs are. It'll work that way. I thought it was great. I really thought it was great. And there was a couple of conversations I had in there that were on the brand telling side of things. I don't know. I know I would like to have look into it. Let's put it that way, because I didn't speak to everybody. I don't want to say something I'm not going to follow through on, but I will be looking into some of those companies that are there, because I'm sure there's some unique stories there that fit very well into this whole idea of tomato talk, right? The top of mind thing. But it's the advancing through obstacles. What were their obstacles? Maybe it was a food consideration. Maybe it was. Maybe they are cooking for health because of something someplace. Maybe they're cooking because they couldn't find a product that they really liked. So they went to the kitchen and did it. Maybe somebody in there, and I've seen this on the outside, not necessarily stored within there. Maybe somebody in there has got their own food allergies and just found it to be such a challenge to go buy some processed food someplace that had the right ingredients that they needed or were looking to avoid, that they came up with their own recipe. And you know what? Their friends liked it and other people liked it. And they're like, you know what? Maybe we can make a business out of this hobby. Maybe we can make a business out of this challenge in life. Maybe. Find the right people to surround yourself with. That's really it. Hey, I want to thank everybody for joining us here today. Mike, Kurt, and team. Of course, my wife, Karen, too, and others. If you listen to this thing afterwards, really appreciate the support, of this thing. Truly love doing everything. We're going to change the background in there. I don't think you need to see my closet door, but whatever it is, we're going to continue to grow and make it work. Just make it work that way. I'm excited. I got a new setup here. Why? Because, well, I had something come up, or I had to make a move on the change because of that stupid tar paper, and things happen. Things happen for reasons, my friends. Sometimes it's not clear. Sometimes it's not clear, but they always happen for a reason. And when you need to get advice, understand who you're talking to. If you're talking to somebody that's looking to make sure you don't make too many mistakes, that's one thing. If you speak to somebody else that doesn't have that constraint in their mind at all, they may come up with some crazy ideas. Then it's up to you to kind of filter them through. And then find those folks out there that are going to support you. Your Mike Simbrums. That when you come to them and say, look, I need to do this thing. Can you help me? The answer is sure. Whatever you need. Whatever you need. I will be back again tomorrow, of course. Remember, speak well, Speak often and live inspired. To use your voice.